Thing. I think you guys know me. I kind of like health. I like being healthy. And so I think it's always a great thing when we can come together and we can put God's principles and precepts together with what we do in our everyday lives, because I'm a firm believer that the key to success is what we do every single day. And so just appreciate you guys being here. I know we're going to be blessed together. Amen?
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Back to turn this on. It's so nice to have people that know technology and have it all set up. I love technology, but some days I have that love-hate relationship. But I truly believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, God is using technology. He's using it to get his word and messages far and wide. He's using it to create movements all over the place. And so I'm embracing technology. This is the third study that I have led. The other two have been virtual, literally behind a computer screen with people that were up and down the East Coast. I had a young lady that I mentored many years ago, who's now a missionary in Spain, able to be on a Bible study with me, which was the coolest thing. I felt like God was encouraging me to open up a daytime noon study. And when she jumped in, I knew for sure that that was his idea. So he is truly doing something here. And I did a study years ago, Henry Blackaby, Experiencing God. I don't know if any of you have ever read his book or have done that study, but it's all about getting into the will of God and trying to figure out how to get into the will of God. And he said, look around, see where God is working, and join him. And then you'll be in the center of his will. And so as this has come together, that's what I feel like I'm a part of. It's really kind of blowing me away. And I know you kind of sense that from Diane's introduction as well. So I'll share a little bit more of how that's all happened. But some of you saw my welcome video. Raise your hand if you were on the email. We're going to get all of you on the email. So I'll just kind of cover a little bit of what was in that video. So what has happened with me the last 13 years, I have been a part of a company as a healthy living coach. The name of the company is Arbonne International. And I was leading women's ministries before I took on the career with Arbonne to basically help put my boys through college. So leading women's ministries was wonderful, but I got to a season of my life where I had to go to work so that the boys could have a college education. And so I felt torn because I felt like I was in the sweet spot of life when I had to leave leading women's ministry. So then he brought me to this company, and I've taught wellness, healthy living for years without a Bible study. And now in the last, I guess, this study was written back in 2013 or 14, I think. And in the last year, I've become a leader with it. And all of a sudden, it's like everything has intersected. God has brought it all together. And so I've been coaching people on wellness and healthy living for 7 years in this particular program. But adding the Bible study element to it, I mean, I was all in when I found out about this. So that's a little bit of what you're a part of. So those of you that have gotten into the study, you see that there is the testimony of Dr. Linda Jeffries and her daughter Joy were around the Arbonne 30 Healthy Living program. But the Bible study is a 40-day Bible study where we focus on healthy living principles, biblical principles, and learn how to optimize our health and our relationship with God so that we can serve the kingdom better. So what I tell people is that whether or not you choose to do the Arbonne 30 is completely your decision. And I don't want you to feel like I'm here to sell you a product. I want you to know that I'm here to bring you good news, and I'm here as your encourager. Linda is really the expert and the teacher, and so of course I need to make sure we're all on the same page so that I can be transparent with you and share about the products as she refers to them in the study. But please know that these things are optional. There's a lot of information here that has nothing to do with products. And so I'm not going to ever try to sell you a product. We're going to sample some things and you're going to learn, and then it's going to be, the ball will always be in your court. I'm here in any capacity. I'm here to pray with you. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to answer questions. But my goal is that we would become healthier in understanding how to optimize our health so that we have more energy, that we feel younger, we have a clearer mind, and we can serve the kingdom better. Because the world needs the church to have a lot of energy. And so we cannot be in bondage to food. And over the years, I've learned a lot of things. I've tried it all. You know, I've always been into health and wellness just because I think just because, well, I got a passion for health and wellness when my mother got cancer at the age of 50 and died at the age of 61. And I said, I gotta know what I can do. I can't change my genes. There's so many things I can't do, but I need to know what I can do. And then 10 years later, my father got cancer. And 8 years later, he passed away at 71. And I only knew a little of this to share with him. But again, my passion went to the next level. I had become a part of Arbonne by the time he had gotten cancer. So I was learning. And I have 4 sisters, 2 of whom have had breast cancer. So I am on a mission to share this information from the passion within me, from that fire. And what I have seen over the last 7 years that I have been living by these principles will blow you away. And I will tell you, I've done a lot of fad diets. You know, I did the whole low fat and all that kind of stuff. And now we can go, that wasn't good information that we got, right? And now we have good information. The dots are connected. I'm sure of it because I see results all around me, not just my own. I turned 60 in January, and I promise you, I have more health than I ever had in the 40s. When I was raising 2 boys, I needed the energy I have now back then. So you might be here because you need more energy to meet the demands of your life. Or you may be here because you want health. I just interviewed a young lady 2 weeks ago who is 30 couple years old. And she agreed to do an interview with me on Facebook. And I said, you must be so excited to have reclaimed your health. And she said, I never had health ever in my life. Her story was like Joy's, the daughter, in this testimony. She said, I promised my friend I would do this for 30 days and no more. And when my stuff came in the mail, I thought, what the heck did I agree to? I told all my friends, only 30 days and then we can get back to going out and having fun and everything. And she told me at the end of 30 days, for the first time in her life, she had hope that she could have health and that she could turn things around. And she's been doing this for a year. And she has actually lost over 100 pounds. And when I interviewed her, we barely talked about her weight. We talked about her energy and her zeal for life and how she's helping so many other people. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm seeing and hearing. And so I know I'm not the expert, Linda's the expert, but I'll tell you what I do know. I know it works and I know it's good information. The same as I know that the answer to any problem in life is hang on to God with white knuckles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what your problem is. And sometimes whatever your problem is, maybe I've walked it and I can be an encouragement to you, but maybe I haven't walked it, but I can still be an encouragement to you, because the same God that walked through whatever with me is going to walk through your journey with you. So I look at it when I say that my career and my passion and my ministry all came together, it's I have been anointed to bring good news to people, to give them hope. And some people need hope. They find that hope because they find God, and they find that healthy relationship with God, or they get a healthier relationship with God. And some people find hope because they get a healthier relationship with food, and they feel better. So that's how that's all tangled up. It looked all tangled up to me for a whole bunch of years. And now I'm going, oh, okay, God, that's what you were doing. You were preparing me for the day you would bring it all together. And I would just be the messenger and the encourager and the cheerleader for all these other smart people that brought this information together. So that's my job as your leader. Okay? So what I am and what I'm not. I think I covered that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist or a medical professional. I do not diagnose or treat or claim to have a cure, but I'll share testimonies until the cow comes home. And if you put the dots together, we'll go with that. And I had to laugh when my son teaches banjo, and he had a client or a student who had all these health issues. And he said, you need to talk to my mother. She's a nutritionist. So I get this Facebook message. Your son said, I need to talk to you. You're a nutritionist. And he said, you can help me. I said, first of all, I'm not a nutritionist. Second of all, I can help you. So I could be your cheerleader and bring you the information. So I am going to share some really fun testimonies with you throughout these 7 weeks. So tonight you heard a little bit about my testimony, but I have a number of people that I have coached, and they're going to share their testimony with you week to week. We have a type 1 diabetic who is lean and mean as she can be, but she balanced her blood sugar through these principles. And then I have another husband and wife team that I'm going to bring to you, and I have a bunch of others. So every week you're going to get a special treat. So the goal here for all of us is to make the kingdom of God healthier and more effective, one testimony at a time. So you all have your books, right? And some of you, most of you, or all of you have read the preface. So some of us, I should say, can probably relate to Dr. Linda Jeffries. She says, I actually pulled it out of here and wrote it so I wouldn't forget. She says, at age 57, I was frumpy, fatigued, achy, and feeling old beyond my years. Now, she says a whole lot more, but I tell people, I can relate to that. But what I tell people is I'm the myth buster. Just because you hit menopause, your metabolism does not have to slow down. Okay? I'm telling you right here and now, it does not have to slow down. And you do not have to have all those menopausal symptoms. We're going to learn how to balance hormones, and that makes us happier. We're going to learn how to have a healthy gut, and trust me, that makes you happier, because actually 90% of the serotonin is in the gut. So it's not your imagination. When you're having Rolaids, you're probably grumpy. Doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, or any age. So we're going to connect those dots also. How many can relate to Dr. Linda Jeffries? Was I the only one? So we're gonna be the Mythbusters here. Anna Joy, much like Whitney, who I interviewed a couple of weeks ago, weight loss had been a total focus. As a high school senior at 289 pounds, she was miserable and dangerously depressed and hopeless. Can you imagine being the parent of a daughter that feels that way, and you're the parent and you feel helpless? because you've already tried everything with this daughter of yours, that would be a hard place to be as a parent. And so when her daughter brings home one more thing for mom to write a check for, you know, you can understand her hesitation. But I love what happened, and you read the story, so you know that Dr. Linda Jeffries comes screaming down the steps. I think it was 2 weeks into the program, and she said, "Anna Joy, I just came down the steps and I don't ache and I didn't have to hold on to the banister." So these are little victories that mean a lot, right? So let me just remind you all of this information that we're going to learn about. And when you read all the things that Dr. Linda Jeffries shares with us, just remember that she has a doctorate in curriculum and instruction. So she knows how to teach us. She has a master's in genetics, a bachelor of science in chemistry, and she is a physician's assistant. So she is qualified as our teacher for this study. So I already told you about my passion and where it all started. Any questions? Any curiosities? Does anybody want to share that question that I asked? I think it's at the bottom of the health assessment. If you felt better, had a clearer mind, more energy, felt years younger, what would you do for God? Or what would you do more of for God? Anybody going to be brave and bold and share? Because this is what makes me tick. When my virtual groups shared that with me, I'm like, I am all in. Look what I'm going to lead these people to. I would love for you to share, Cindy.
Evangelize and minister more,
Awesome.
much more.
Awesome. Anybody else? Yes.
I put that I have suffer with anxiety, and I have a tendency of wanting to be a homebody. I don't like to go out. I don't like to socialize a lot. So my goal is, my husband always says, go out and get some sunlight, get some vitamin C. So especially now in the spring, you see everything coming back to life. And like, if you just take a moment and realize, like, you know, it's kind of like God, like he rose from the dead, everything is born again. So if I just take a moment and appreciate the stuff that doesn't cost a dime in life, like if it's driving in your car, then I feel like maybe I appreciate life a lot more than what I cherish it now. Because sometimes we all have bad days and we take it for granted. You're like, no one's suffering like I am. So sometimes I feel readjust my mind, like you're not the only one that's having a bad day or a bad life.
Yes. And you need to get out to make a difference for God, right? Satan would love to keep us all cooped up in our houses so that we can't get out and make a difference. Anybody else?
We've been talking about that at our church, about isolation. And when you're isolated, then immediately you start getting discouraged. And that's why, you know, this whole community that we're doing now for this study is so important, because you're not isolated. Because that's not a good thing.
Right.
I want to volunteer more with the church activities.
And we know that the church needs more volunteers, right? Yes,
I'd like to do some work with the homeless, get out amongst them, help.
And do you think we have more homeless now than we did before?
Well, I know that we do.
Right? Right. And we know that the homeless are not going to ever be gone, but we, the church, need to be there.
Right. And it's not all their choice.
Yeah, absolutely. By the grace of God, we're here, and we have a warm building and a car to get us here and a meal at our home. You're right. So we need to make a difference. So that covers the preface. Let's see. So the foreword, it talks about freedom in Christ. There is no burden that we carry to earn salvation. And I've had people ask me when I tell them about this study, is this going to be condemning? And I can understand why people would ask that question, because we've all been exposed to whatever in church or in Christian circles where we felt condemnation for whatever reason. So we start talking about food and rules and principles. I can see where people would think that that could possibly be. So I hope that you know by reading the foreword that there's no condemnation here, that this is not about a set of rules. And we know that 2 rules which remained for the new Gentile converts addressed food and sex. Peter was well aware that adding rules would provoke God's wrath, because man-made rules is legalism, right? And that's not where we want to be going. But Paul understood that these 2 areas had to be addressed, as they have the greatest potential for human bondage and require Christians to make deliberate decisions regarding their conduct in these 2 areas. So we know we have to have some rules with a relationship with God. That's healthy, and that is to protect us, and it's to bring us at a place where we can make a difference. So you may or may not have come across her reference to the Fox News article where it talks about the church is more obese than the general population. And we are the sickest developed nation on earth. And Satan is delighted that the church is derailed from God's kingdom work because of our minds, our bodies, and our children's generation is captured by food addictions. So you will be blown away week after week. And I encourage you to do your study 40 days straight, rather than on Sunday night getting ready for next Monday night, trying to do all of them. You will enjoy it more and learn more if you do it one day at a time and use it as a journal. And also, I would say that you want to, I forget what I was going to say. It'll come back. It'll come back. Let me read my next line. Oh, here's what I love. Oh, I knew what I was going to say. I knew it would come back. So what I was going to say is, when she says go to her website, appetiteforgod.com, and read an article or go listen to a video, you will really love those things. So definitely go and do that. And I'm going to be calling on some of you in advance. What I like to do is I like to find the people that like to share, and I like to ask them, like give them a little assignment. Hey, day 22 on the health part, would you like to kind of dig a little deeper, maybe look at the video and pull some of that out for us? Because I don't want you to come for 7 weeks and just listen to me for an hour. So if that's something that you like to be a part of, jot it down on your sheet, and that way I'll know. And if you're scared to death that I'm going to call you, no, but it's totally fine. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So I don't want you to feel like, I don't want you to not come back because you're afraid I'm going to do that to you. So what if we attracted people to Christ because they were first attracted to our healthy lifestyle? Or what if they were initially curious and they wanted to learn about our transformation? Think of the doors it would open. All of a sudden, people that you've been trying to talk to about God for 100 years, all of a sudden now they want to talk to you about a different topic because maybe they see a transformation in you and your health, and now you get that connection to talk to them about God. Happens all the time. So why not, as we're making these changes, why not we think about it that way? So each week, what I'll do is just kind of pick and choose like different things out of the lessons and highlight. So really, you're going to dig in each day and get the full thing. So if you come and you didn't get a chance to do your lessons or whatever, I'll probably give you enough information that then you'll want to go home and kind of dig in and catch up on those days. But if there's something in particular that really jumps out at you, or you really feel like it was an aha moment, or the Spirit of God just nudged you in a direction from something you read in the study, please highlight that and share it with us, because I think that's exciting for all of us. So I think that was all I wanted to say on the forward. Anybody have anything they wanted to say about the forward? Those two rules, those two things, those two areas, sex and food, where we can get bondage. You know, I think we try to excuse it away about food all day long. But what we're going to uncover is why we do what we do and how we can undo it. And it's not hard to undo when you know how to undo it. So that's really what you're going to get exposed to here. So day 1 and day 2, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so day 1, you know, it takes 40 days to prepare for something completely new and different, right? So there's reference here to how the whole concept of 40 days is really divine. When you think about Noah built the ark, he was in the ark with the rain beating down and flooding the earth for 40 days. Moses spent 40 days on Mount Sinai receiving the 10 commandments. Caleb and Joshua scouted the land of Canaan for 40 days. Joshua warned the people of Nineveh for 40 days. I feel like that one's the most connected because I feel like we're putting out the warnings. And now that you know this information, now you're going to be responsible for it. So in 40 days, you're going to know it. And you know what James says about when you know it, right? Then you have to do it, right? Jesus remained with his followers 40 days following the resurrection. So the appetite for God lessons are designed to improve the health of the body while also establishing a sense of well-being. 1 Thessalonians 5:23. Now may the God of peace make you holy in every way, and may your whole spirit and soul and body be kept blameless until our Lord Jesus Christ comes again. So we have to really look at that. And they're talking here about our whole spirit, our soul, and our body. And of course, we are going to be talking a lot about our body. So in the first day, there's a lot of talk about getting started. And in order to get started, you have to seek wisdom. And James 1:5 says, anyone who lacks wisdom, just let him ask. Come to me and ask. I'll give it to you abundantly and without reproach. So I hope that you're coming to the beginning of this study seeking wisdom from God and asking him to show you where he wants you to serve differently or serve more, or what does he want you to know about food and health and nutrition. And he'll make it so clear. I had a friend decide to do this, and she really was a coffee addict, and she knew it. And she didn't have a ton of health problems. She just knew that she wasn't sure she could give up her coffee, and she drank it all day long for probably 30, 40 years. And she knew it was not because it was a suggestion to try to give it up for 30 days to see how your body dealt with coffee. She knew that God was pointing to that in particular for her. And that's not to say that coffee is the devil, because I still enjoy a good cup of coffee. But my point is that it might be dairy for you, or it might be whatever. They say what you crave is killing you. So I don't know. Think about what you crave. But we'll talk about and we'll learn how to get rid of those cravings also. So the suggestion, you want to make sure you look at the 4 pages of getting started information. And I'm going to give you a warning on, let's see, page 7. Make a note at that protein bar recipe. That has too much coconut milk. It was a typo. It's more like about 4 ounces, but I have a couple of really good protein bar recipes that are even more exciting than this. And I'm going to send them in an email this week, so you can play around and make some protein bars if you so choose, which is one of her suggestions in the getting started. And let's see what else she talks about in the getting started. She talks about beginning to replace one meal a day, preferably breakfast, with a protein shake. And what we know is all protein shakes are not created equally. I mean, I've done a lot of studies on protein shakes, and a lot of protein shakes are, they're bad for you. They give you stomach issues and all kinds of things. So her information, her guidance in here of looking for a protein shake that's non-dairy with pea protein, brown rice, cranberry. Of course, that is the protein shake blend that my company sells. But there's others out there. So just look at your ingredient list and what you really want to stay away from. Several things, but definitely whey, W-H-E-Y. We say no whey to whey. And if anybody's here having whey protein shakes to build muscle and bulk, I can show you all day long a whole bunch of people that build muscle and bulk without the whey and don't have the stomach issues. So now you're all good. Did I step on some toes?
No, I'll admit it. Since October was doing the Shakeology, and I had to give it up 2 weeks ago because I thought it was my anxiety making my stomach sick. And I mean, to the point that it felt like someone was stabbing me. And I got the vegan thinking it was okay, and it wasn't. And I got really sick with the stomach pains and the crampings because of what was in it.
Right. So we'll learn a lot about what's in it, how much it matters, whether you're putting it in your body or on your body. Ingredients matter. Yes.
I was doing the protein shake and I was cheating and dumped most of it down the sink.
Who were you cheating?
I thought I was cheating my back doctor, Dr. Small.
Okay.
It clogged up my kitchen sink. Seriously, and I questioned him about it. He said, what's it doing in my body that clogged up my sink?
Because you're not drinking.
Yeah, he should have said if you did you drink the whole thing?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You like him too? I do.
He said, if you ain't drinking it, they ain't doing nothing for your body.
Well, I'm not drinking it, but I do a lot of vitamins.
Well, what you're learning in the first day of this study is that protein is so important. It is the only thing that kills hunger. Our body needs protein at the cellular level. And the American diet, typically we're all having not enough protein. And especially when you start the morning with protein, and most Americans are not starting with protein. We typically are having a bagel or a donut or yogurt and an apple. You know, even some of the healthy routes are still deficient in protein. I have helped people become like a whole new person just because they started their day with protein. So yes.
You know anything about Thrive? I've been doing Thrive. And it is a protein shake in the morning.
Yeah, I would have to look at the ingredients, but
Can I bring you?
you can
some.
you can screenshot it
I
and
will.
send it to me. Absolutely. And I'll tell you
I've lost
what
40
sticks out at
pounds
me.
in a year
that is awesome.
on that, but I want to know if it's good for me.
Okay. Okay. We can definitely talk about
It
that.
has a lot of caffeine.
Jesse, somebody said it was a good protein shake. Is it Antoine? Yeah, Monique, our pastor's wife.
Okay,
right
Monique.
here on the back row.
You've been spotted.
You haven't tried it yet, but somebody told me that was a good shake.
Is drinking it right now.
The vegan,
I don't know if it's vegan or not.
Because I picked up the protein shake that's the vegan, that they have vanilla and chocolate.
Why don't you screenshot the ingredients for me or send the name, and I can do like a comparison and tell you the good, the bad, what it has, what it doesn't have. But on page, page 3, she talks about what you want to avoid. You know, you want to avoid artificial sweeteners, you want to avoid a lot of chemicals, and you know, if it has a whole lot of ingredients, typically that's something you want to stay away from. So there is definitely, you know, there's definitely a lot of good ones out there. And I will be happy to help guide you in looking at ingredients and that kind of thing. So absolutely my pleasure to do that for you all.
Why is whey protein so bad?
Because it's dairy based,
Oh,
and it's what the cows are eating,
okay.
and that's passed on, you know, all the chemicals,
So now we know why we-
the pesticides, and we're, yeah. You're gonna learn a lot of great information.
Does it have gluten too?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna avoid gluten and dairy and wheat. And I think we're gonna talk about wheat on day 2 here. Look at the shopping list, right? There's some salad dressings. You know, a lot of times the salad dressings is what's getting us. So there's some great salad dressing recipes in the back of the book. And also, we'll talk a little bit more on one of the days about the bioidentical progesterone cream and just hormonally balanced meals. Balancing your hormones by what you eat is so important. And all of the principles that we're going to be focusing on go in the direction of cleaning up your gut health, balancing your hormones, increasing your energy, and all of those great things. So you learn little bits, and it's all going to build on each other as we go through. So you'll see that we're avoiding wheat, refined sugar, dairy, and GMO oils like canola, corn, and cottonseed. So definitely look at your, like when you go and you get popcorn in a bag and you see the oils, you know, look at the oils that it is cooked in. These things are, it's important. Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a question back on getting started on that page.
Which page?
Page 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says in the breakfast shake, it says to use 1 scoop of fiber.
Yes.
But nowhere on the shopping list do I find fiber on any shopping list.
Okay. Okay. Well, fiber is one of the products, of course, that Arbonne has. But, you know, there's fiber. You find it in some of the health food stores as well. But we need to give you a definition of what a good fiber is.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good fiber powder, for sure. That's a good question. So now I have 2 pieces of homework. Let me write those down. And fiber is so important because literally if you just got the healthy amount of fiber in your diet, which is like 30 to 40 grams, and did nothing else, you would lose weight within a year. They say like around 10 pounds. The average person would lose 10 pounds if they just got enough fiber. And what fiber does is it's going to work as like a sponge to attract toxins. That we have an overload of toxins in our body, and it helps to eliminate them from the body. And we are always looking to support the organs of elimination, whether it is the skin, the kidneys, the liver, the colon. We're always going to need to support the organs of elimination. And that is a big job of the fiber. Yes.
This is called fiber.
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you some more information on that for sure. See, you are good students. I'm not going to let it, now my other 2 classes, nobody brought that up. So kudos to you. I didn't realize that we needed to spell that out better, but we will. Yay, Carol. We might have to move you to the front of the class.
Not yet.
There's 3 open seats up here. Okay. So you see there's some shopping lists, some nutritional tips. And then let's go to day 2, the order of creation. anytime I'm having a chaotic day, I always try to remind myself that God is not a God of chaos. He's a God of order. And I need to stop in my tracks and I need to bring order to what I'm involved in or what I'm doing, because then it's going to be God honoring. And this is what we're seeing in day 2 in the Bible lesson, understanding how God brought order to the world in creation. He took chaos and created order. That's what he says in Genesis 1:2. And hang on, I want to read something here. He formed all things that were needed to give and support life. His creation began with order, and his divine order remains. Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit. Offer his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. That's what we're doing. We're getting back to nature. We're getting back to the garden and dispelling all the other things that we've, convenience with a price, right? The cost of our health. But something I wanted to say about this. This is going to be 80% of people okay, so the health lesson is about why 80% of people worldwide will stop eating wheat. And there's an article about that. We're going to read about that here in a second. Something I wanted to share here. So we are going to prayerfully consider in the weeks ahead what our responsibility to God is regarding the seed and making all the decisions about what we're going to eat and what we're not going to eat. What are you guys most concerned about giving up?
Sugar, candy.
Okay, candy, I heard candy, sugar, chocolate, coffee, bread, potatoes,
Pizza.
pizza. They come alive. I just had to ask the right question. Okay.
It says
Convenient food, convenience.
Yeah.
How often so more intentional about preparing meals rather than just grabbing something and go.
Yes, yes. Well, I will tell you that there is grab and go. There is healthy grab and go. And also I'd say that my protein shake is kind of my healthy fast food because it simplified my life in so many ways. I'm not as much into cooking at this season of my life, but we have great recipes and I can make a mean protein bar. I can make a great protein shake. And I do get into some of the recipes, but I usually am encouraging my family and friends who love to cook. I feed them the recipes and then invite them over. But this is simpler. It's just really breaking those habits. And like I will on the go, Panera bread. And even, a lot of places you can get a good healthy salad. And, like I said, the salad dressings are the culprit a lot of times, but you can ask for olive oil and a lemon and you can dress any salad pretty nicely with olive oil, a lemon, and some sea salt.
But hot sauce in my salad.
Hot sauce. Yeah.
I do a little hot sauce on like olive oil and hot sauce.
Oh, I'll have to see what's in that hot sauce, but I'm sure there's good. There's got.
Yeah.
You have fans up here in the front. Well, I want you to relax and know that this isn't going to be all bad news. And when you make certain changes, you start feeling so good and you're very satisfied. It's just learning a new way. And it can be convenient. Trust me. I have like 12 balls in the air and can juggle them for the glory of God. And I have grab and go, and I've learned how to have convenience with healthy living. And many people around me, I'm not just weird and like I'm the only one figured it out. There's a lot of us. So rest assured.
Jesse, maybe that'll be a time when people share what they come up with, some ideas, so that other people can benefit from that.
Yes, absolutely. I ask a lot of times, what became your new go-to snack? And what you hear like 5, 6 different answers, and then we're all getting ideas from each other. I carry hard-boiled eggs in a little cooler bag. Farm fresh eggs, hard-boiled egg, simple, easy, on the go. Obviously, it takes some preparing and remembering and things like that.
I get Reese's eggs.
What did you say? I heard Reese's eggs.
Reese's eggs, and there's a lot of them out nowadays that even put Reese's pieces in.
Well, what if I told you that I have a peanut butter chocolate protein bar recipe that is delicious? That's what you want me to bring, right? Okay. I got it. Like, don't bring your detox tea. Bring your chocolate peanut butter protein bar. Okay.
Sounds good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And as long as like that.
Esther can bring her cracker candy.
What we can do with this fruit? Well, I tell you what. What do like pray for the? She says pray for this truth. We're all in it together, and we're gonna make little by little. We accomplish this. We're gonna eat this elephant one bite at a time. Right?
That's right.
And the cool thing is, you're gonna learn such great information that is so substantiated with research that it just changes your mind about changing a habit when you learn about it. So that's what's it's going to fuel you to want to make those changes that you're scared to death about making. So anyways, God is a God of order, and our health lesson is no wheat. And I know you would. They're already worried about the wheat. Like sugar wasn't bad enough, right? Now we're going to take the bread away. But you're going to feel so much better. 40% of what is removed from today's wheat includes the bran and the germ of the wheat grain, which is its most nutrient-rich parts. In the process of making 60% extraction flour, over half of the vitamins B1, B2, B3, E, folic acid, calcium, phosphorus, zinc, copper, iron, and fiber are lost. So if you had a good source of wheat, you wouldn't be giving up wheat. But it's what has happened in the processing of wheat that's caused the problems, and that's why 80% are giving up wheat. And listen to this, Dr. Marcia Alvarez on page 11. In my practice of over 2 decades, we have documented that for every 10 people with digestive problems, obesity, irritable bowel syndrome, diabetes, arthritis, and even heart disease, 8 out of 10 had a problem with wheat. Once we removed wheat from their diets, most of their symptoms disappeared within 3 to 6 months. So do you see the motivator? All of a sudden, if you can go down steps without holding the rail, and all you had to do was give up your wheat bread or whatever tended to be that connection for you, you'll be like, okay, whatever. So that's kind of where we're headed. You can alkalize your gut by eliminating wheat. And what we know is that when the gut is acidic, that's where disease grows and thrives. So the changes that we're going to learn about and suggest and make is to move your gut in an alkaline state. And that's where you thrive. That's when you feel your best. And that's why we're making these changes that we're suggesting.
Will we be talking about probiotics and? if that's
Oh,
a good
yes.
idea?
Oh, yes. We're going to talk, several days are dedicated to gut health.
Great.
Absolutely. Yes. And I can't believe the number of people have gut issues and how many, I mean, I've seen turn right around. How many
All right.
people in here have gut issues? Probably 2/3 of the room. How many are coffee drinkers? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not like pointing you coffee drinkers out. Don't worry. I was just curious in general. Really, I was just curious. So, Healthy Living Cheat Sheet on page 12. Yes,
At the bottom of page 12.
at the
it
bottom
says,
of page 12.
We're giving up vinegar, which is not soy, which is not dairy, and it's not wheat. Why?
Why are we giving up soy?
No,
Vinegar.
Vinegar. Oh,
We like our vinegar.
they like their vinegar because it's acidic. But you can have apple cider vinegar. Yeah, apple cider vinegar you can. Yeah. As a matter of fact, a lot of the salad dressings have the apple cider vinegar in. And I put apple cider vinegar in with my energy drink and my digestive enzymes, and it's kind of like a little convenient kombucha. Because I don't make kombucha, but I know how to make a copycat with my stuff.
What is that?
Kombucha is a fermented drink. It's a fermented tea. You'll find it out in the stores nowadays, which is good. And it helps with your gut. I have friends that make it. Yes. We're talking about gut health here.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So they were saying it's under the lemonade.
Uh-huh.
But you're saying that the apple cider vinegar's okay?
Yes. I'm saying that you have my permission to notate on page 12, apple cider vinegar is okay.
Do you know why that is? Why the other vinegars aren't good?
Apple cider vinegar is not acidic.
Okay.
Yeah. You want the one with the mother.
We want the one with the mother.
Balsamic. That is acidic. Yes. Great questions.
I don't see it says eliminate marshmallow fluff.
It's under the sugar section.
Y'all are gonna give me a run for my money, aren't
Sounds like they are.
you? That's all right.
Well, Rowdy.
It did
That's under sugar, like she said.
It did say eliminate all fruits except, and it gave some, but then at the top of the page, it says you can eat bananas and pineapple.
When you can have bananas and pineapple would be like after a hard 1 hour workout.
Okay.
That's when you want it, kind of like a recovery, but the banana and pineapple are very high in sugar, so it's spiking your blood sugar. But right after a workout, your body can process that really well. And a lot of people that I work with, they're not working out, and that is totally fine. In the beginning, I have people that I work with, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes a month into it, they'll come to me and they'll say, when are we going to start exercising or talking about that? And I say, when you ask me. Because in the beginning, when I've worked with some people, they're like, everything hurts. Everything hurts. And so we need to get the body leveled out with the nutrition so that the inflammation reduces and things don't hurt as much. And then we can begin the movement. But that's not the case with everybody. So that's kind of how that goes. Yes.
Can I just say something to this group?
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease back in May last year. I have been on the autoimmune paleo diet since July. This diet is nothing compared to what I've been on. I have eliminated
yes.
all of what you guys can eat, and it will make a difference. I have arthritis. I didn't know I had gut issues, but I must have. But it's the truth. Wheat, dairy, sugar, and I'm on sugar addict. it will totally change your life.
Wow. So are you still a sugar addict?
I'm still a sugar, I'm always, just like a cocaine addict, I'll always be a sugar.
Okay.
No, seriously, they do compare sugar. to
Oh, I
meat.
know.
Yeah.
It lights up the brain
Exactly.
on a scan the same way cocaine
Exactly.
lights up a brain. That's how addictive sugar is.
And I did fall off the wagon, so to speak, during the holidays and had a little bit of sugar and a little bit of stuff I shouldn't have, but I paid for it because the joint inflammation came back and I hurt.
Yes.
So I'm still on it, but I'm hoping just to go to paleo so that I can reintroduce stuff that you guys can eat, eggs and nuts and all that stuff I can't eat.
So if she can do that, you all can do this. That's what I heard her say.
That's what I said.
Is that what you said?
Exactly.
Thank you. And I also heard you say what a difference you saw the power of food
Oh, yeah.
and how much difference you could feel, right, with a disease like that.
And I've been on thyroid medicine for over 30 years, but my thyroid medicine was changed and tweaked a little bit. And then with that and the diet, yeah, totally made it.
Yeah, it's amazing. What I want you all to know and what I want you to leave with knowing tonight is that I guarantee you that you are underestimating the power of health by just changing your foods. It is amazing. It is amazing. And I cannot tell you to get off any medicines. All I can tell you is a whole lot of friends of mine that have made these changes have gotten off a whole lot of medicines, and you're going to meet some of them. And I'm not saying that everybody gets off every medicine or that everybody should get off of every medicine, but there's a chance that in a room this size, there are some people that are on some medicines that they would like to get off of and that they can get off of by changes of food and by learning this information, which you're probably not going to learn in your doctor's office. That's what I've seen over and over, day in and day out. Yes.
I have Hashimoto's and I'm a type 2 diabetic as well. And I finally got with an endocrinologist specialist. And I told her straight up, I'm a sugar addict. And she looked at all my meds and she said, I have no doubt you are on way too much insulin. And she's bringing me off insulin, and I have found myself not craving the sugar because I finally got away from my family doctor with a really good specialist and getting me away from the insulin because she said it was making my body crave sugar. And it's just amazing.
Yeah.
The changes I've just been feeling in the last month.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, because I think you're building that energy in the room to say it's worth it. Nobody said it's easy to give up your chocolate Reese cups. Honestly, it's not easy. But what's amazing is you give them up for 2 or 3 days and you're like, oh, I don't even care about them anymore. You think it's
gonna take the whole 40 days.
all right, I'm gonna check with you.
I just told her I'm gonna go eat all night. And my butterfinger bar. So then I will have to worry about it.
All right, you're gonna get rid of them. She's getting rid of them. Well, I'm gonna close us with prayer. I'm gonna pray for you all. Did you want to say something before I pray?
No, I just was coming.
You want to come with me?
Yeah.
Want to be my moral support?
I did want to say one thing about, they didn't mention in here, that you talked about mood, but mood is very affected by food too.
Yeah.
So you can not only help your physical body, but you could impact your emotional health by these different foods. It really does make a difference.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
So you're going to close in prayer?
I'm going to close in prayer. Oh, Father, thank you for this opportunity. And thank you for each and every person here tonight. Father, I pray that you would help us to just dispel the lies that we've been fed with the food that we've consumed. Give us an open mind and an open heart, and help us to just learn this information And I pray that you will just open our eyes, open our mind, open our heart. Show us what we need to see, Father. Each one of us, we are individual, and we each have to see different things, and we need to see it in different ways. And you're a personal God, and you know how to show us what we need to see, and you know how to help us hear what we need to hear. So, Father, that is my prayer, that as you lead me to lead this study, that you would bring about change that would just chase Satan away from the bondage that he has people in, and that we would be able to just serve you in a bigger capacity than we have ever served you. That there would be a movement in this town that would just grow, and that it would be visible, that people would see transformation in the church, and the church would be a place where people run to for help, and that they would find you in the midst. So we commit this time to you, Father, and we thank you for what we're going to learn. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Did everybody turn in their the questionnaire? So we need those.